as many of you know, because PragerU tends to be something I feature a lot on my channel. All right, tends to be something I feature a lot. The PragerU has a website. It's not just all on YouTube. And increasingly, they're moving more and more content from their YouTube to be on their PragerU website. Okay? In addition to being accessible on the PragerU website, they also bundle that content with Daily Wire Plus, which is another like kind of conservative a conservative like subscription service to get you Ben Shapiro content and Jordan Peterson content. Okay? So I haven't been on the website in a hot minute, but I decided to check it out. And frankly, what I discovered there was really funny, and also, holy shit, the people who fall into this this sinkhole are never getting out. There is an entire ecosystem being created for them, and their world will basically be the Truman Show. So anyway, of course I noticed that they had an interview with Kevin Sorbo on there, and I can't not watch that. So here we go. Let's look at what Hercules has to say.
It makes me really sad that we've gotten so angry and so divided. But why can't we have a civil talk about our disagreements? And you can't do that today, especially in Hollywood.
Why can't we have a volume bar to make videos quieter? It's impossible. Can't be done.
My name is Kevin Sorbo, and this is my story. So you might know me from Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. I got to brag a little bit. That was the most watched show in the world, 7 years. So where it began for me, I grew up in a little town called Mound, Minnesota. And
Oh God, I didn't know that. He's one of mine. I didn't know. I didn't know. We should have stopped him, chat. Bob Dylan and Prince could have combined their forces and barred him from leaving the state, like most of us.
11 years old, we took a field trip into the Guthrie Theater, a very famous theater in Minneapolis. And
very famous theater in Minneapolis. The Guthrie, by the way, is a really cool theater. If you're ever in Minneapolis, you should check it out. It's a very pretty building, and also has a lot of talented actors and actresses. Also full of queers, so I know that this isn't his favorite spot.
And so we went to see Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. Now, number one, I was 11, all right? Shakespeare, I don't know what the heck they were saying on stage, but I was mesmerized by the actors. I was mesmerized by people being mesmerized. I was looking around on the way home. My mom said, "What do you think?" And I said, "You know something, Mom? I'm going to be an actor." And I got that nice little pat on the leg, and my mom said, "That's nice, dear." And it wasn't until I got to college. And I had a double major in marketing and advertising, but I had a minor in drama because I knew what I really wanted to do. I gotta say there were some sidetracks in my life before I made the big move to Los Angeles. And it's always about a girl, right? So I met a girl my last year of college, and she was a big-time model, and she had already been traveling the world, and she was only 19, I was 22. She goes, "Come and spend one summer in Italy with me. Come on, we'll go to Milan." I said, "Okay." So I go to Milan. She had an agent. I didn't. I was just like, I'm gonna spend 3 months, have a fun time in summer. I'm walking on the street. Who's walking at me? But with his bodyguards was Johnny Versace. And he sees me and he goes, "Who are you? Where are you from?" And I said, "Well, I'm from Minnesota." "You were a model." I said, "Not really, I'm an actor." She goes, "No, you must be in my shows. I love you. You're tall, you're big." And that got me going. And as I spent 8 months modeling in Milan, I went to Paris then for 6 months, and I went to Munich for a year and a half, and I went to Zurich for 3 months, and London 3 months. So I spent 3.5 years in Europe.
I mean, you guys say that this is bullshit, but also, like, I don't know, young Kevin Sorbo was kind of a hunky man. Okay? Look, we can be real. We can be real about this, but I mean, like, guys, it's not what? It's not out of the question that someone saw this muscly man and were like, "Hey, I want you to model in my show." Like, yeah, I believe that, actually. That's all I'm trying to prove here. I'm not saying I want to fuck Kevin Sorbo.
Was supposed to be 3 months. You know, it was interesting to see people's view of America, because everywhere I went, there was an interest in America. There was, I want to go there. What's it like? You know, because they get all our movies, they got all our television shows. I mean, I'm living in all those countries over there, and it's 90%.
He was 22. His girlfriend was 19.
80% of it is American stuff. I remember, I'm going to jump forward here to when I got Hercules, because I shot that in New Zealand. But this was common in places even in Europe, but this cracks me up the most. The first year of filming Hercules, no one obviously knew about the series at that time. And I would go and work out at this gym that I joined there, and this one guy walks up to me and he goes, "Oh, you're that Yank. You're that Yank shooting Hercules, eh?" And I went, "Well, yeah, I'm an actor. I'm filming the television series Hercules." He goes, "America, I've been to America, hated it." And I looked at him, and I don't know why I thought of this, but I'm kind of a smart ass to begin with. And I said, "Well, then don't go back. We have enough assholes there already." And I walked away from him. And I kept thinking a dumbbell's gonna be in the back of the head or something. But you would run into people like that no matter what country you go to. For the most part, people liked America. I think to travel the way I did was huge to make me grow up. It matured me. There's no question about it. Moving to LA.
Yeah, a lot of people in the movie business really liked America for some reason. Crazy. Crazy, right?
I wasn't as intimidated as I know I would have been at the age of 22. I know that was huge for me to do that. I came out with a very positive attitude that I'm gonna make it. And I knew it wasn't easy. I mean, they call it the city of angels, right? It's really a city of broken dreams. A buddy guy gave me great advice. He said, "Sorbs, remember, it's called show business, not show. Treat it like a business." And that's what I did. I treated it like a business. I was relentless with my agents. If I found out about an audition for something, I'd go to my agent, call him up. "Kevin, I got 100 clients." I said, "I don't give a crap about your clients. Do you think they care about me?" My mantra was, get me in the door. Let me have the chance to be rejected. Just get me in the door. I was hungry for it, and I wanted to make sure I kept working. And since those years, I've shot over 60 movies, and I've been very fortunate to have a nice long career, and I hope it continues. The difference today, I think, is back then to compare to now. I think you got to play even more of a game now. You got to be ready to, I think, bite your lip more than ever in the climate that's going on in America today, the climate that's going on in the world, because you've got this whole woke thing and this cancel culture where people come after you and it can tear you down for something you said 30 years ago, which is insane to me. And these are the same people, apparently, are perfect people that never, what does it say in the Bible? Ye without sin cast the first stone. But I didn't notice it until I got up to Canada, where I filmed my second series, Andromeda. And I started noticing more on the set there when two of the actors on the show found out I was conservative. And they said, "You're Republican, you're against education." And I went, "I'm against education?" I said, "What?" I said, that blew my mind. But then when I started doing more and more movies, that's when I started hearing people saying stuff on the set. And I would challenge people. I'm like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" I mean, they love their labels. You're a homophobe. You're a racist. You're an anti.
They love their labels. You're a homophobe. Why? Just because I called you a fag? Yes, actually. That's how that works.
And I go, "Okay, tell me how I am. Where does that come from?" I've been on the set of so many movies and TV shows in 30 plus years, and I've worked with so many people that are gay, lesbian, whatever. There's not one that would say I was a horrible person to work with. There's not one.
Yeah, you just think that they're abominations and of the devil. So what if you're fine to work with? Like, your personal views are not incompatible with also being able to shut your mouth and do your job.
But they love their labels, and it's so easy to throw labels at people. And like I said, now we live in a culture where it's you're guilty until proven innocent, when it used to be the other way around. I was at a charity golf event out in Palm Springs, and I said something.
Oh, by the way, his upcoming film for this year is he is directing it, by the way. It's called Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist. So,
something. And one of the guys pulls me aside. He says, "Are you conservative?" So why are we talking like we're doing a drug deal over here in the corner? Because he pulled me in the corner of the clubhouse we're sitting in. It's crazy how the damage they can do to your career, how they can destroy people's lives right now. In 2010, there were a couple of incidents that I just said, okay, I've had enough of this. And I remember going back to my wife and saying, I've had enough of the hypocrisy where nobody's pointing it out. And I started getting more vocal. Of course, we had all these, social media was starting to grow in its infancy, but we started to take off. And I started saying stuff. My wife said, you better look out, they're gonna come after you. And I said, all I said was 2 + 2 is 4. I spoke the truth, that's just truth. But she was right. And I got to a point where—
Oh yeah, you were being persecuted for saying 2 + 2 = 4. I wonder if there's some sort of context behind that. Could you be referring to the incident where you said the Jews killed Jesus while trying to defend oh God, what's his name? I was about to say Mel Brooks. That's not right. Mel Gibson. There we go.
With my agent, who was a big-time agent, I was with a long time, and my manager just said, we can't represent you anymore. I said, why? Well, because you're conservative and you're a Christian and I was like, what? And I said, this is an industry that screams more than anybody else for tolerance. You have to be tolerant. You have to be, freedom of speech. And now all that stuff is completely a one-way street. It's like, you say what we say, or you're out. You're out of the club. Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream of culture. Who runs the culture? Hollywood does. Mainstream media does. And you see what's coming out there right now. You see the movies that come out. There's so much hate, anger, divisiveness. Walt Disney said back in the 50s.
Yeah, but by the way, I think he said 2010 because in 2010 he had a falling out with Lucy Lawless because he said in an interview that she was a closeted lesbian. And also that 2007 interview with Film Stew, Sorbo complained that Lawless had received a small part in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. The actor said, I think Lucy got a small part in it because she's married to Sam Raimi's partner, Rob Tapert. She started having an affair with him down in New Zealand. She left her husband and he left his wife of 15 years. So that's how the whole thing got together. After Lawless replied to Sorbo on Twitter, a fan brought these interviews to her attention on the social media site, to which she replied, ha 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 ha, oh Peanut, you slay me. I don't understand that. Is Lucy Lawless gay? I thought she was. Oh no, yeah, no, she is a heterosexual. Yeah, she is a heterosexual, but she's one of the good ones, chat. I think she's aware that a lot of her fan base is gay, and took on their cause. Spelled with an X. Xena is spelled with an X. But yeah, so she might be a bit upset about like. Yeah, she might be a bit upset because over the years he's repeatedly accused her of sleeping with producers to get jobs. He also did it again in 2010 in an interview with Black Book, claiming that she may be a closeted lesbian and that she got the role by seducing the male executive producer. Yeah. Also, in 2014, let's see. This is Kevin Sorbo's official statement from 2014. Ferguson riots have very little to do with the shooting of the young man. It is an excuse to be the losers these animals truly are. It is a tipping point to frustration built up over years of not trying, but blaming everyone else, the man, for their failures. It's always someone else's fault when you give up. Hopefully this is a reminder to the African Americans. I always thought we were just Americans. Oh well, that their president they voted in has only made things worse for them, not better. So, just casually calling black people animals, claiming that black poor people are poor because they're lazy and aren't trying, and that they are stuck in a rut because they are continually blaming others for their own failures. Things a not racist would say. Do you have a link for that? Yeah, here we go. Later, he deleted it and apologized. But yeah, these are the things that he's saying 2 + 2 = 4. Yeah, you were saying that along with a bunch of other racist, sexist, and homophobic shit. Like claiming that an actress only got a gig because she slept with people, pretty sexist. Claiming that, or potentially outing your colleague because you're salty about it. Yeah, pretty homophobic. Yeah. Calling black people animals and lazy. Yeah, pretty racist. And he then later he deleted that post and said, "I stand humiliated and humbled. My most sincere apologies for my post on the events in Ferguson. I posted out of frustration and anger over the violence and looting. My words were never meant to hurt the African American community." But noteworthy in his apology, he doesn't include in parentheses, "I thought we were all just Americans." Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe people were canceling Kevin Sorbo because of the things he said and did. Maybe not just because he spoke the truth and they were amazed.
50s movies and television will influence the youth, and of course, look what it's doing right now. There's such an ignorance out there.
This man has definitely been humbled and humiliated, which is why he's now showing up on conservative propaganda networks.
Such I don't think people are stupid. I don't think young kids are stupid. I think they're just misguided, they're misled. We got an education system that is, they're telling kids that this is bad and this is good. I never had that when I was in school. I never had that.
Yeah. My school never said it was bad to get AIDS. I found that out myself. Wait. Nah. Bullshit. Your school taught you that fascism was bad. Your school taught you that communism was bad. Okay? Your school teaches you things are good or bad all the time. Oh yeah, monarchy? Totally good. Yeah, when you were getting your history classes on monarchy, they talked about it in glowing terms and just spat on democracy. Yeah, definitely there were no priorities being made in school at all. This is all from like that perspective of like, oh, things are political now, but back when I was a youngin', things weren't political at all. Watch, chat, in like 20 years, you'll see current Zoomers being like, back in my day, those Steven Universe and Adventure Time cartoons weren't political at all, but now they're all political about the alien genders flying around in space or whatever comes next. I don't know. It's gonna happen again. This is just something that happens when people get old and out of touch, and it's unfortunate that Kevin Sorbo, instead of realizing he was old and out of touch, decided to use his massive influence to make things actively worse for people.
The math class, they taught math. It was biology, I taught biology. When I got to college, I never had any professors tell me or get angry at me if I had a different viewpoint than them. I have no recollection of any of that stuff going on, but it's changed drastically in the last 15 years. It's just, it's accelerating on itself. And when I
wonder why a conventionally attractive white man wouldn't have people challenging their viewpoints. Weird.
Usually confront somebody and say, okay, let's talk about that issue. And all they can do is say, you're wrong. You're wrong. Or science. I go, okay, explain the science to me. It's science. And they walk away because they don't have the answers. That's where they want to be because that's where the news people told them they should be, or the industry of Hollywood told them they should be. There's a weird tipping point we're at right now between reality and just fake information. And unfortunately, people are falling into the trap of going for the stuff that's more fake than real. Here's what's interesting. I tell my liberal friends, I go, you go look. You bring up JFK. JFK was great. And I said, look at his 1960 inauguration speech. Is there any Democrat that talks that way today? And we have to find a way, and I think the liberals got to help lead in that way as well. And the right does as well. We got to find a way to get some sort of common ground. I still
wait. I'm sorry. Wait.
Time, and my manager just said, "You years. It's just it's accelerating on itself." Because that's where the news people told them they should be, or the industry of Hollywood told them they should be. There's a weird tipping point we're at right now between reality and just fake information. And unfortunately, people are falling into the trap of going for the stuff that's more fake than real. Here's what's interesting. I tell my liberal friends, I go, you go look. You bring up JFK. JFK was great. And I said, look at his 1960 inauguration speech. Is there any Democrat that talks that way today? And we have to find a way, and I think the liberals got to help lead in that way as well.
Yes, there literally are. Also, why would you want Democrats to talk exactly the same as they did in 1960? Why, like, you know that, like, the 1960s were, like, before black people had civil rights in the United States, right? The 1960s, like, bro, Kevin Sorbo, you were like 20 years old by the time women could like have checking accounts. All right, like, don't pretend like you grew up in this enlightened, ironic democracy, okay, where everything was perfect when you were a kid. Okay, we know that's a load of shit. I honestly think he might not know. I mean, that's possible, but also, like, I don't know. Maybe it's good that people don't talk the same now as they did in 1960. Maybe it's good that people don't talk now the same way they did in the 1870s. Yeah, like, right? Like, we need to go back to when women couldn't afford to not have a man. Like, Jesus.
And the right does as well. We got to find a way to get some sort of common ground. I still have to hope and believe that we're going to eventually reach across and find a way to shake hands and be sincere about it.